Hello, thanks for clicking on this edition of BCTD Now for March 12th, 2012. Every so often we sit down with BCTD leadership to hear their thoughts on what's going on and what's coming up. This week, BCTD President Mark Ayers sat down with our correspondent Bob Miskey. Here's that interview.
Thanks, Tom. I'm here with the president of the Building and Construction Trades Department, Mark Ayers. Mark, thanks for taking a few minutes.
Great to have you here in Washington, Bob.
Mark, let's start off talking about PLAs. As everyone knows, PLAs have really proven to be a great value, both in public sector and private sector jobs. They're really starting to gain more and more traction around the country, and there's some really big news coming out of Los Angeles, isn't there?
There really is, Bob, and we're very excited about it. And that news is the fact that the LA Metro Transit Authority negotiated a PLA with the Los Angeles and Orange County Building Trades Councils that involves billions of dollars of work. Actually, it's the first agreement of its kind in transit history, as far as we know. And it's a particularly great agreement because it's a community workforce agreement that really reaches some very lofty goals. For example, 40% of the work hours will be assigned for workers in disadvantaged neighborhoods. And that's big, you know, that we all need work, but there's nothing worse than having a project in your own community and you not working on it. So we've made sure that the workers that live in that area have the opportunity to do that work. But more importantly, 10% of the work hours will go to people that are currently at the poverty level. So it's really a helping hand, stretching a hand out, lifting people up, doing what we say we'll do. And I'll tell you what, we're doing it quite well everywhere. But hats off to California in particular, because they really lead the pack with community workforce agreements.
And Mark, things are really ramping up with Plant Vogtle. I'm sure that's a great source of pride and an exciting time for you.
It really is. The manpower is building. We have over 1,000 people on the job now. The exciting part, the thing that we've been holding our breath on, DOE just issued the combined operating license, which allows the construction to proceed even further. That's the final issuance of the permit. So this is really a model project, and we're particularly proud of the Plant Vogtle project because it's the first one under our nuclear construction agreement, which is a very out-of-the-box, innovative agreement that is the right thing to do for nuclear construction. And I'll tell you, the men and women on that job, they're hitting all the marks. The job's on schedule, it's on budget, and that's really unprecedented in the nuclear construction industry. But we're going to prove to the world that American workers, American skilled craftsmen and women of the building trades can bring a project like this several $billion in on time, under budget, and producing low-cost energy.
Well, coming up right around the corner is this year's legislative conference in Washington, D.C. I know you and your staff have been working toward it. What can we expect this year? Why is it important to come?
Every election year is important when it comes to the legislative conference, but probably none any more important than this election year. I mean, you hear all the pundits, that's all we hear on the news right now. You're getting it from all sides, all different angles, but it's critically important that we have our leaders turn out at the legislative conference so they can really get the facts, the innovative things we're doing beyond political, and to get the political rundown of where we need to be, what we have to do to work together to make sure that we all accomplish the same thing, at least we're working in the same direction.
Last one before I let you go, Mark. Let's talk a little bit about Labor of Love. This year's event is going to be held in Baltimore, and there are some really big changes, aren't there?
There are, and we're very excited about those changes, Bob. Historically, it's just basically been a golf tournament, but we've taken it to a new level with the help of Allison Mitski, the Executive Director of Project Type Zero, and also with the help of Sean McGarvey, the Secretary Treasurer here at the Building Trades, who formed a committee that includes several of our general presidents and some longtime friends of the building trades, and come up with a dynamic program and a dynamic event, which I'll explain a little bit about. First of all, we will still have our golf tournament. The golf tournament will be at the Baltimore Country Club. It's my understanding it's the first time an outside group has ever been allowed to come in and play at the Baltimore Country Club, which is a pretty good layout. We also have another great course to play because we'll need a couple courses. Along with that, we're also having a softball tournament. And the amazing part about this, through the good graces of our great friend Peter Angelos, who is the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, the softball tournament will actually be played at Orioles Park on the field at Camden Yard.
Terrific.
So, I mean, if you talk about the field of dreams,
yeah,
this is the real field of dreams.
That's as close as any of our folks are ever going to get to the major leagues.
Well, that's right. And the final game will be played just prior to a night game between the Orioles and the Red Sox, in which all of the people participating in the Labor of Love will be invited. We'll have special recognition, special seating for them. So it's really going to be a bang-up event, and a lot of people are chipping in to assist Allison. And so it's going to be a great tourney, and anyone out there that has an interest, please look on this website. There's a link to Labor of Love. Click on it, and you'll see more about what we're talking about. Maybe there'll be an interest there for you as well.
Thanks for your time today, Mark. Let's throw it back to Dom in the studio. Dom?
Thanks, Bob, and thanks, President Ayers, for your time. As always, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and see what President Ayers is saying on Twitter. We'll see you next week.